you.
You
Like,
started giggling out of nowhere.
I whispered it. They didn't hear that part. That was between you and I. I have no idea what I was talking about.
I saw that. And you know that I can't shut them out, so...
Yeah. This guy, don't tell him secrets, man.
Okay, that's not true.
You can tell him secrets. Just tell him it's a secret. Like, this is a secret. Here's the information. That's how you do it. Anywho, we have a bit of a pause here on the draft.
You have to go for the parameters, you know?
Mm-hmm. You got to set expectations.
This is a German way.
Mm-hmm. I've learned that. I think the funniest thing with you as a person is, and I'm here in America, whenever we don't want to hang out with people, we make up an excuse, right? We're always like, oh, I'm too busy, I'm playing a JRPG, blah, blah, I can't show up. And with you, you're like, no, you just don't want to hang out. And I was like, well, kind of, but I kind of have this thing I have to do. And you're like, no, just tell me. So now whenever you ask people to do a movie or something, I'm just like, no. And for you, that's okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, of course.
Anyone else is like, why? Why won't you come to the movie with me? All right, straight into it here. Same bands coming in. Taronda, Garrosh, Diablo, Maiev, the tanks, a main focus between these teams.
These inefficiencies here.
Yeah, it's true. It's all about feels good, man. That's what it is here for America. Just want to make everyone feel good. Diablo.
It's good that you pointed out because on my own, I actually didn't catch up on that.
Yeah, because like it happened to me last week actually. I was hanging out with somebody in Florida and they were like, hey, do you want to do something? I was like, no. It's because I had things to do. Like I had a phone call and it still kind of looked at me like I attacked them. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I have to watch Netflix, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, sorry. I usually talk to that German guy, and he gets that, but I have to be nice with you.
Made me jaded, man.
Okay.
Alex Straza coming out for Infernal Shrines, White Mane, and Alex Straza, some of the best supports you can get on this battleground. Decker King coming in for Granit Gaming, take that away for Linked, but Alex Straza gives you that shrine control, and Gul'dan will help bolster that out.
It's actually interesting because last week already we had Alex Straza coming a few times through draft, and that's a slight change in the way that European teams are starting to look at Infernal Shrines because normally you see Alex really banned out quite often here, and currently that's not happening. Now Kerrigan is banned because they played her last week, and it was actually pretty scary. And with the Gul'dan combo, there's a lot that you can pull off here. But yeah, so Alex Straza starting to make her way into Infernal Shrines, which is super interesting. Teams are starting to let her go through, even though she has the Dragon Queen to secure that objective. But outside of that, when we're looking at the draft, I like the URL early on again. Alex Straza and Gul'dan are great additions for the leftovers. Granit Gaming taking Deckard Kane and also approaching it a little bit more the same way that Dignitas did with an early Hanzo pick here to give them also more control and more aggressive tools that they can use with initiation through Hanzo. So that was a problem that a lot of teams just talked about in general, that they feel they don't have an initiator, and Hanzo can be that guy even from the back line. So that's something that's pretty cool for them. But yeah, we're definitely seeing draft start to change slightly on Infernal Shrines. I actually enjoyed that. It's subtle, but it's pretty cool to see.
Speaking of interesting things to see, Genji just not being in the ban phases for a lot of these teams. It seems like Toronto has really came out and just switched up what are ban priorities. Genji has actually been in every single game so far today.
To be honest, we're getting into a meta right now where you're actually excited when you're seeing Genji.
Yeah.
So from him being a first picked or first banned like nearly in every single game, when I was seeing him coming into those games, and yeah, you're right. This is the third time now that we're having him in here. And we see Granit Gaming Zeratul also coming through. And that's something that we oftentimes see now banned against Granit Gaming because people have... This is a problem when you play Zeratul this much. People realize, hey, this is a staple in your composition. No matter what kind of comp you play, you want to have Raid Boss in a spot where he can really go in deep and get those kills and carry the team in the momentum. And all of a sudden, Zeratul gets banned out all the time. They have toned it down a little bit, but yeah, I could definitely see if this goes into Game 5, for example, if we are ending up, let's say, on Towers of Doom, that a Zeratul ban is coming out again. Just simply because they love that hero so much and they have shown that affinity for Zeratul that it's an easy ban against them, at least in the third ban, depending on the map.
I do like that they brought it down, at least in the draft priority, because it was at a point that it was almost first, second pick for them on a lot of Battlegrounds. So now it coming out as a fifth pick allows for it to be what Zeratul is great at in the draft, being that surprise pick, that wave clear that comes in there and maybe says, oh crap, we should have considered Zeratul in the draft. So now, with him coming out in game number 3, we'll see if Granit Gaming is able to make the Zeratul work. If they grab a win here, they'll be going up 2-1 over the leftovers, which is something I was not expecting to say today as we head into Infernal Shrines.
Linked for the leftovers on the left side, this time on Alex Straza. We have Bleak Kidney for the leftovers on Genji. Portibos on Urel once more, third time in a row for him. Mopsio playing on Muradin, looking for those Storm Bolts. And DAB on Gul'dan.
On the right, in the red. Raid Boss on Zeratul, Memecraft on Hanzo, Ulf on Blaze, Anande to play Johanna, and Wolf Joe. Deckard Kane. See if the Zeratul will pay off for Granit Gaming. Naturally, with that hero coming unlocked here for them, this draft is going to go to the late game for them. They're hoping to get 16 at least on even footing, where he can really start to shine. And that initial engagement that you mentioned in the draft coming in from Hanzo will allow for them to have those full-on engages. Both of them can actually force a fight. So you can have the VP coming in from Zeratul first, or vice versa, have Hanzo hit a Dragon Zero and have Zeratul go in, cleave, VP afterwards, and finish up a kill.
Also, if you guys tuned in a bit later and you're currently wondering why exactly Ulf is currently playing on the side of Granit Gaming, it's pretty simple. Dark mode, he couldn't make it. So no emergency, he's fine. But as far as you know, he just couldn't make it. Either internet issues, tech issues, or whatnot. But so we had last minute, last second sub player coming in, and that's Ulf. Usually he's playing for the Holy Banana, so he's going to play in the Crucible. He's going to try and make his way into HGC. Also a German player, therefore no changes in communication on the side of Granit Gaming. They're obviously also familiar with him, they know him, so he's been subbing in for them here today, and they were able to get a win with him on Tomb of the Spider Queen against the Leftovers. So far it's looking like a pretty seamless sub from that perspective.
Yep, even had a couple of moments where he got a pick in game number 2, DAB. A few things here and there. Leftover is actually thinking about getting aggressive here. When you have a murder, you should always think about bringing the aggression. He's actually going to hop on in. Memecraft going for the channel. Actually able to grab the siege camp, and Leftovers will have to back up. Granted, they don't mind coming in there. They like being able to get a couple storm bolts in, a couple corruption stacks as well.
But that tiny situation where it was a bit of a body block for Muradin actually led to him not being able to get onto the point in time. Just half a second more and he dips his toe onto the circle, and then it's a fight over the actual camp. So right now, Leftovers, they can't get the Impaler camp, they have to deal with it, but they are definitely very aggressive here in the early game, trying to look, as you said, for the Storm Bolts, for the stacks through Gul'dan, but also, of course, hoping to get maybe one of those early kills. If you can jump onto Hanzo, if you can jump onto Zeratul, has two squishies that can easily burst down if you get that CC stun.
I like the movement here from Ulf. Typically when you have a sub come in, it's kind of a weird scenario because you have someone that comes in and they might naturally just play more passive because they don't want to be the one that screws it up for the team, right? They just naturally have that fear, but Ulf doesn't seem to have that at all. He had a rotation away from the top lane straight to the middle, looking to find a big pick on DAB. Didn't find it, but I like those small maneuvers to show that confidence that he has in being a top laner. He even gets back just in time to soak the experience too.
Yeah, I really feel like if you have to have someone sub in, then an offlaner is usually a pretty nice move because you're not as dependent on the coordination of the four-man, but of course later on in those team fights, it's still going to be super important that he's able to follow all the calls here. But having that bit of initiative that you just talked about and really the confidence coming into this is great. And I pointed that out a bit earlier. It's awesome for him that outside of the Crucible match that is coming up for them soon, he now has another opportunity to get a little bit more HGC experience because the nerfs always play a role when you go into these Crucible games. So this is actually pretty awesome for him.
Speaking of Wolf, he gets a kill with Zeratul on the top lane as Raid Boss comes in. Body Boss picked up on that top lane. It comes at a 4x2 with that Merc camp pushing in. Granit Gaming should be able to grab those turrets and maybe even get some damage on top of that fort. Leftovers will turn their attention over to the shrine and attempt to clear that out while Genji peels off to deal with that top lane. But a big kill at a wrong moment for the Leftovers.
And this is a situation where, of course, from a Granit Gaming perspective, you're worried about Alexstrasza and her Dragon Queen, so you're more inclined to give the first objective up and to let them have the Punisher. But you want to get counter pressure, you want to get value, and that's what they got at the top lane. Granit Gaming has a half-level lead, they have the early level 7, and a lot of that comes through that Raid Boss rotation on Zeratul to the top to get that kill together with Ulf. But they still need to defend now, and that's really the moment when Leftovers is going to attempt to close that experience gap.
This is the part where playing Zeratul gets to the fun portion of playing him. That wormhole gives you the ability to go in, get cleaves on many ways, and back up safely. Usually before then, it's the most vulnerable state he usually is when he comes to the game, and that's saying a lot considering how vulnerable his health bar is actually. So, getting that extra mobility allows him to clear up that wave, and Granit Gaming will clear up that Punisher. Mopsio going for the retreat, but in terms of experience, looking pretty close between the two as we head to level 8.
Yeah, and that's exactly the situation that you kind of want to be in the Granit Gaming. You get a lead early on before the objective because you don't go for it, but you try to find value somewhere else. and then leftovers with the Punisher are able to make up for the discrepancy here. Now, DAB is still, of course, making sure that he's getting the stacks on his level 1, sitting at 15 right now. We're having 7 stacks on the Stormbolt quest that we're seeing from Opsio, and he's super active here with his Muradin, always jumping around, trying to scout out what's happening, anchoring the plays, sitting in those bushes, making sure that he knows where the rotation is happening. And this is something that, if you're playing most tanks, is oftentimes what you need to do. You yourself don't really have a lot of wave clear that you can utilize to take down a camp, so you let someone else take the camp and you sit in the bush at the side, and if there's a rotation coming in, you can stop that, you can slow it down, and you can make sure that no one of your teammates is getting ganked and taken out.
One of the underappreciated roles that a tank can pull off. Speaking of tanks, Nande here actually taking a bit of a beating, but with Wolf coming in from the top lane, they'll hit a solid depth propulsion. Urel's pushing the top lane during all this, so Granit Gaming would love to find a kill. They don't get much, so Wolf will head to that top lane and start to clear out that experience, and hopefully he'll be there in time. But Granit Gaming keeping up with the fighting, but only 1 kill so far. 1-0 in favor of Granit.
I mean, we're talking about heroes that teams or certain players run. One standout for Memecraft is definitely Hanzo. Like, it's a hero where he definitely performs the best on, and you can see that here now too. So giving Hanzo over to Memecraft is always one of the things where you have to consider, is that something we're okay doing? And leftovers, they weren't really willing to ban Hanzo out, even on the battleground here. So now Memecraft has that engage potential. He can initiate with the arrow. There's actually a ton of tools that Granit Gaming has where they can initiate a fight. The Blessed Shield, the Void Prison, the arrow, even the jet propulsion that we're seeing from Blaze, even though that's a bit less likely. So an enormous amount of tools that allows them to force fights when they really want them.
The Horrify is definitely key for the leftovers, trying to stop that full CC train from hitting a teammate and usually where you're trying to aim for when you have that Horrify being available, and of course hitting multiple members near a fort or keep will be the ideal situation. The leftovers is definitely in a position where they can try to deal with that. One thing they can also do as well is try to get in early with these Punishers. Now the first one didn't do too much. It got the turret wall, but that's pretty expected. The second one could be a little bit more deadly. Now you have the Punisher jump, you have the follow-up necessary for yourself to try and stop Granit Gaming. You just have to win it, and luckily they've equipped themselves to do that with the Dragon.
Yeah, this is also the one where Granit Gaming is going to be very willing to fight over it. And I mean, I gotta say, if the coordination is on point, you should really be able to put a lot of pressure on the Gul'dan and maybe get that kill. If you get close enough, can hit that arrow, then he's going to be in trouble. So Granit Gaming, they have a lot of very dangerous tools here. So Olf already eating a bit of damage thanks to DAB, who is continuing to getting these equipped corruption stacks in.
Push for both teams in the top lane when it comes to those mercenary kits. They should balance each other out. 5-on-5 on this middle Punisher. Experience 11.5 for both teams. Nande taking some corruption damage. Opal setting up for a jet propulsion, but Mopsio finds the Stormbolt. Big cleave from Raidboss.
Yeah, really big one, and they're getting the damage in. Here comes the bunker now too. Having DAB in the back having problem, but he gets the fear off, and Kane is immediately in trouble. Wolfjo about to go down here. Link comes down with the Dragon Queen, and that's a fantastic spot for the leftovers with that kill against Granit Gaming.
Linked with the Dragon Queen is able to drop in, keep everyone alive, nice and healthy, buying time for Urel to drop down and of course provide that armor. Memecraft even getting bitten here by Blackidney, who goes in for a Swiss strike, and leftovers, after stopping the onslaught coming in from Granit Gaming, easily take away the Punisher.
Fantastic kill against Hanzo here. Really good job by Genji getting that second kill in. And now, of course, they are in a great spot. They have the pressure at the top lane with the camp, and they're also seeing now another big push through the middle happening. But they would probably hope to find even more. If they can lock someone down here after the Punisher jumps in with the Stormbolt into those stuns, into these ice crystals, that would be absolutely ideal.
Look at how careful Link is playing Soxraza. As I said, that he picks up and drops out of flame buffet. But he wants to make sure that he's able to provide these Circle of Life and focus all of the attention on DAB, who can step up and provide that damage. Big flank coming in from Granit Gaming, though. They go in for DAB. Here's the Jet Propulsion 2. Full lockdown. Raid Boss cleave. Link provides the heals. 40 Boss with the armor, and DAB runs to the minions to get some heals.
Zeratul really wants that kill, though. Here comes the arrow. Nice follow-up on the Void Prison, but is it going to be enough? DAB gets locked down into the ground again, and this time he might finally fall, and indeed he does as Raid Boss goes in and gets the kill. But Hanzo falls as well. Blackidney with a counter kill, the 1-for-1 trade here.
But Granit Gaming had to put all their eggs in the basket just to get that kill.
They used everything.
Everything. And to be fair, they were down a talent. They thought they had an opportunity to find DAB. Eventually they did pick him off. They also lost Genji themselves. But that just goes to show how in sync Leftovers were with that defense to make sure to keep him alive. That will become rougher when 16 does connect for Zeratul, but still, Leftovers, they definitely had the defense for themselves. They had that layered setup to make sure they can save a target.
There were a couple of really cool things in that last fight, and I mean, I really like the Void Prison into Hanzo Arrow coordination because we've seen that also go wrong a lot of times, but that was well executed by Granit Gaming. But DAB got through so much there. He was really able to keep himself alive for such a long time, especially with Link trying his best to make sure that he doesn't fall at all. Now, Urel could have done a bit more, but they were going for that counter kill in their backline, and pushing Hanzo down was an important kill for them. They still hold on to that level lead, and they have, of course, now also the advantage in structures on the map itself. But yeah, it's going to come down to a fight that might even favor Leftovers with a potential level 16 talent, depending on when that shrine spawns. They're currently splitting their heroes on the map to make sure that they're not missing out on any wave clear.
Yeah, that full level cushion, something they're very appreciative of. As the next shrine will actually be on that south side. Remember, the first shrine was there too, so that will be spawning, and they'll be pushing in a fourth that has already taken some damage too, so they can bring in that forward, move in towards the keep wall, and then set themselves up for that late game. Granit Gaming on the other side, playing it safe, soaking up for themselves. They even have a bit of a check on the bush lying on the bottom left in case anyone is meander their way on over.
It's actually really scary from Leftovers' perspective. Now, they have a lot of great tools. We highlighted that several times right now. But if you look at Granit Gaming and the engage potential, they can force so many fights, and if at any point they're going to get that. I mean, look at this, the minimap, they're already rotating in, and they have a chance to even force this with a Void Prison if they want to. They don't even need that. Here comes the arrow, it connects, Arden Defender, and that should be a kill against Urel no matter what.
Yeah, there's no way. There we go.
And that's exactly it. They had the chance the entire time to even pop a Void Prison here to force it if they needed to. So they can try and force these moments over and over again. And I feel, especially when it comes to a big team fight, if Zeratul at any point gets into that backline, gets a Void Prison off, there should be so much follow-up with the CC through Blessed Shields and Hanzo Arrows that it's difficult for Leftovers to deny those kills. So it's really an execution problem at this point.
On the side of Leftovers, they should be trying to get in this shrine as quickly as possible. They have 16, but Granit Gaming will have 16 soon, but they want to be able to have that window where they have the Dragon Zero down. They also have the Blessed Shield off. It's going to be about a good 15 seconds to where they can get a couple of those things picked off, but Leftovers have to play it safe. They grab the Merc Camp at the top and they waited on Urel, and Raid Boss is in position with a Flake.
There's the 16 now on both sides right now. Raid Boss just waiting for the opportunity. Link is already popping the Dragon Queen. Raid Boss sees it and immediately starting to move in with the rest of the team as we're seeing Leftovers chasing in deep for this one. Here comes the attempt to take down Memecraft, but the bunker is there. Down goes Genji. Bunker saving everyone on the side of Granit Gaming. At least for now, they are low, but they are still alive.
Buddy Boss goes in for the pounce, and that'll be a Zeratul picked off. Memecraft with the Dragon Zero, but it hits two healthy tanks in the front line, and Mopsio, he's hungry. He drops in and wants to store ball. He's playing for that pizza.
Link is in a spot where he just keeps everyone alive, and yes, the Leftovers, they want the pizza right now. Granit Gaming, Wolfjo is already questioning his decisions here and making these bets over cooking skills. Would rather have that duck, but at the same time, it looks like it's going to be the pineapple pizza as Memecraft. It's also low, and here comes DAB, wants the kill, and they get it.
Memecraft tried to get a couple of scatterers in there for that Pierce to try and burn down Boss, but it just not enough. Here comes the knockback too as Boss is delivering in this team fight. That's going to be a kill on Hanzo. A second one straight on top of Blaze as well. And Leftovers, even though they lose out on the Punisher, they're able to stop Granit Gaming in their tracks and set up for defense.
Pizza or duck, that's the question here. I mean, so far, I'm actually really impressed that they were able to grab the Punisher after all, but of course those kills do not really help their cause. The elite and experience is still there for the Leftovers, and we're looking towards a race towards 20 now, and that Punisher all alone didn't really do a whole lot.
No, it did not. A couple turrets, got some damage on the fort. It did stop Leftovers from progressing this game here, as there would have been a keep that could have been the focus for Leftovers if they got that Punisher themselves. Granit Gaming buys time to build toward level 20 now, but Leftovers is a full level lead. Just trying to keep that lead extended. They actually jump in and put some damage on top of Raid Boss here on the right. With the VP coming out soon, they need to be careful. But Granit Gaming, they can take this fight.
The big problem for Granit Gaming is that if through all the engage they don't get the kill, they are more, I mean, I don't want to call them helpless here, but like the setup becomes so much better for Leftovers if they just sustain themselves through the initial onslaught. If they're able to secure the heroes through that, they are in a great spot. The problem is it's going to become even harder. DB isn't even done with his quest yet. He's still missing out on 5 stacks, and once he has those, the damage output from Gul'dan is going to be a lot harsher. We have finally now also the quest completed for Mopsio, and that alone is going to help him in the team fights. Things are definitely starting to become a lot harder and not easier for Granit Gaming.
I like how you mentioned Oliver was trying to sustain through that full potential wombo combo coming in from Granit Gaming. Even the Stone Form pick up at level 16 kind of alludes to that there for Mopsio. Allows for him to self-sustain himself, provide the healing.
I mean, like, they're doing a great job, right? The last fight in particular, Granit Gaming pulled out everything, especially when we had the Horrify come through and the attempt to take Meme Trap down early. The bunker saved them.
Yeah.
So it started really well for Granit. But then once they used all the heroics, Leftovers was just sitting there, okay, now what you got? Nothing.
It's a hard task.
It's tough.
It'll get harder too, because 20's coming in for Leftovers, and they'll have it before the Shrine phase.
Yeah.
Granit Gaming too far behind. Gosh, Leftovers is even playing with fire here, jumping on top of Johanne.
That 20 is brutal. It's such a huge lead now in experience too for Leftovers. And, I mean, the saving grace for Granit Gaming is that the Shrine spawns topside. So there's still one fort that we have for Granit Gaming. So even if the Punisher is grabbed, that's going to slow it down. And that's going to be super important here. Because if that Punisher or if the Shrine spawns middle or bottom, then we're talking keep. And if you can follow up with a kill, potentially core. With the topside defense through the fort and through the keep, Granit Gaming should still be fine to prolong the game.
Granit Gaming holding on as long as they can. Finally about to hit 19, but here comes that 24 Leftovers. Rewind coming in for Murden. Pretty typical what you normally see from him. Gonna have the extra X-Strike cooldown reduction coming in from Genji. And it looks like a pretty decent pickup. I'm waiting for Gul'dan here. Is he gonna get the teleport here?
Demonic Circle, yeah. Yeah, actually is.
Okay, Demonic Circle coming online. I think that makes sense. You know you're the target.
Yeah. And outside of him, who do you kill? It's tough because Genji can just move out. He has to deflect. You have Urel with the Ardent Defender, can also hop away. Alexstrasza, a bit more of a target, but she still has Dragon Queen. She has her ult too, if she can channel it through.
And she's playing really safe. Blink is way back there.
Yeah, so Gul'dan definitely. I mean, that is the play where you can say, okay, Leftovers is just making sure that nothing can happen. But now look at the top line. They're going straight for that fort. They want to actually get as much out of the fight as they possibly can. So once that they see Granit Gaming appearing in the middle and at the bottom, trying to get that level 20, they just massively push through the top lane and open that up. And now they are going to threaten game even with this if they can open up the wall too.
Destroying the speed bumps. Meanwhile, Zeratus taking the fort in the bottom lane. Finally, the Tony connects. Leftovers are even popping the Dragon Queen as they look to pop on up here and start to keep on pushing. As they get the heals fully falling on it, keeping this minion wave alive too. And here comes the Punisher.
Nanda was really far out the entire time. Was actually waiting for him maybe to get attacked here. That didn't happen, so he has the indestructible. And yeah, Deckard Cain is setting everything up. This is going to be a little bit tough for them right now. Leftovers are definitely going to look to end the game here. If they can get a kill with this, then they are going to try and follow that up. But the keep should at least fall. Double stun already. Mopsio misses the Stormball straight through the middle.
Gets to 3 points, but he wanted the pick. Gonna be looking at the keep as well, doing some damage here. Goes down to about half health. Alexstrasza in the back line. That's finished up with their Cleansing Flame. And that will be a keep. This Punisher has about half health, but the Leftovers think they can find a fight. They still have that Horrify if Granit Gaming chases.
Hansa just chunked that Punisher down so quickly. And there's just no kill. I mean, I would give Muradin at least an 8 for the jump, but the Storm Wall, it was like 4 points at the most.
You're gonna give him 4 points? That's a 0, man. That's straight whiffed.
I mean, it was a zoning Storm Wall, right?
Yeah, that's right. Forget about that value, what it provides. The zoning, man. It's a powerful tool. Everyone frowns upon it. That and trait value. So underrated in this game.
No Leorki in this game, though.
No Leorki in this game.
No, but I mean, they get the keep, so that's the one thing that you want. It's come down to that. But now Leftovers, of course, both of the teams are super careful here.
Mopsio felt that one. His beard's on fire. That's where his hair went.
Gets the... Hey.
This morning, dude, I saw him on stream. I was like, man, you're still bald. Oh, it's taking forever for that thing to grow. I miss his hair.
To be fair, I think he's getting it back really quickly, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to shave a lot. Like, you wouldn't think so, but the first time you do that, you realize, hey, I have to actually shave a lot to make sure that that doesn't grow back too quickly.
How often do you shave a week?
twice yearly.
Really?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's annoying.
Why don't you just grow it out?
Because it looks good.
It looks good. You know, a little something different. Just give us a week of hair, you know?
I already did. It's called a beard.
It's hair.
Raid boss. I mean, this is now the moment where you really still have to be careful on your leftovers, because the problem is you have the lead, but it's 20 versus 20, and you have a Zeratul against you. You're having a lot of fantastic tools from Granit Gaming still, and it's hard actually to take them down now, because the bottomless flask is going to make the Shrine fights so much better. Life Steal for Zeratul. You have the fortified bunker too, and indestructible. So that game has become a ton harder now for leftovers to get these kills.
But this is my favorite part of the game too. When you look at both these heroics and of course combinations as you move into level 20, the tug of war between the two, trying to find that small edge of who makes a mistake.
It's also, we have a middle shrine spawning. That means it's easier for Granit Gaming to rotate topside and take catapults down.
Yeah.
So they're not losing too much time. It's not opposite side lanes that we are talking. DAB, by the way, has still not completed his level 1. Sitting at 38 right now, so it was really tough. I mean, since I mentioned it, there wasn't really a big team fight. It was only the push through the Punisher towards the keep. And that wasn't a fight Granit Gaming took. They were just saying like, okay, have the keep. We're just chunking it down with Hanzo. So there wasn't really a lot of opportunity for DAB to get those final few stacks. But once he gets another corruption off, he should be able to complete that. And again, then we're talking about the real damage output on his part.
When it is time for the shrines to be picked up, leftovers aren't going to be there right away because they're setting up for a different play. They put 40 bullets in the bottom lane as he wants to have these minion waves pushing in and threatening that keep.
Gul'dan is, by the way, sitting at 250,000 siege damage. Like an insane amount. Just to give you a bit of an idea here, the next highest hero are Urel and Blaze, the two side laners who have 150,000 each. So he has an insane amount. And here's the completion of the quest here, as we just said. And now it's time to really shine here. Already all losing hit points galore. He needs to be careful on Blaze. They try to draw the cooldown on the bunker. Don't get it just yet. Dragon Queen has been popped. Raid boss to the side, but the rest of the team is fighting for their life.
Fortify comes out and it will hit too, and they can't jump in the bunker, and Decker Kane is down. Now there is some flask already down, so Granit Gaming can keep up with the healing, but can it stay through in a 5v4? Link comes over and puts some fire breath straight on top of Hanzo. Raid boss coming in here and trying to make a splash, but between these two, he shouldn't get much.
Ulf is about to fall here, and Nande, he will try and escape, but that's very unlikely to happen. Trying to rush away here, and Blakidnia actually lets him go. They're trying to go for Raid Boss here, get him into a corner. Here comes the push, there's the kill, and that's a 4-man down as we are seeing Fortiballs deliver the Punisher. The rest of the team is already on the way, starting to move through the top lane, taking the core on. This is going to be the leftovers with the 2-1 lead here. There is no way Johanna can stall them long enough for the rest of the team to come back.
There is no way, unless Nande transforms into Captain Marvel. He is not going to be able to break this down. He gets into Buddy Boss in the back line, but the rest of leftovers turn their attention to the core, and it falls swiftly. Down to 40, down to 30. Leftovers answering back after Granit Gaming gets a win on Two Man Spider Queen as they go up 2-1.
Mopsio really wants that pizza.
Really
By the way,
wants a pizza.
that trailer was disappointing.
The Captain Marvel one?
Yeah.
It was, actually.
Like, I have no background. I don't know